Ready.
Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this evening, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, my Bugs Bunny Band-Aid wearing brother, Alex. Alex, how are you and your boo-boo doing?
Well, I'm fine. My boo-boo is recovering. Hey, man.
Let me ask you, before we even get into the Bugs Bunny Band-Aid, how big is this cut?
Oh, it covers most of the little cotton part of the Band-Aid. It covers most of it. I mean, I would show everybody, but I don't want to gross everybody out. No.
Gross out people that are watching this on YouTube.
Hey, man.
Seriously, how big is it? Like an inch? A half an inch? A quarter of an inch?
Maybe, I don't know. The size of the top of a thumbtack.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's my next question. How'd you do it?
Well, I can't tell you that. Hey, man, these are working hands of laying down concrete on a Saturday afternoon in Texas. You know
Did you hear them over at Mom and Dad's?
Yeah, that dumb wooden, the wooden handle on the spatula. Yeah. I was grabbing that thing mighty tight, so it just ripped off a part of my skin.
So it's not a cut; it's a blister gone bad.
Yeah, but it's like you can see the meat in my hands. In my hands, bro. Hey, look.
Well, not in your hands, just that one hand, because you don't have don't have a Bugs Bunny Band-Aid anywhere else.
Well, the finger is part of the hand.
Right, but it's one hand, not hands.
Well, yeah,
You're such a weenie.
Hey, man. It was either the choice of a Bugs Bunny Band-Aid or a, colorful, neon, sparkly Band-Aid that my daughter suggested.
The Band-Aid, the fact that you have a Bugs Bunny Band-Aid on makes you a bit of a weenie in and of itself. But the fact that it's a blister gone bad, I'm willing to bet it is tiny.
Go tell a starting pitcher that. I bet you pitchers wear Band-Aids.
What do you do for a living?
It doesn't...
Not pitch.
Hey, man, I worked that 10 key with these fingers, all right? Hey, if you grew up like me watching Looney Tunes, I love this Band-Aid.
Well, yeah, no, I love them too, but I'm not going to wear one over a little blister on my hand.
No, it's all right. I wore it just for our fans on the podcast.
What, do you think we got a bunch of Bugs Bunny fans on our podcast?
Possibly. If they follow us and me, then yeah,
Probably are.
Probably got some 37-year-old kids out there.
A bunch of Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes, that's right. All right, man. Sunday.
Fun day.
Is it fun day? Is it fun day?
Look, for me, it's been fun. I've been out at the baseball fields with my son, watching him play ball, just hanging out with friends, talking and shooting the breeze.
Yeah.
In 100-degree heat. So it's been a good day for me. I got to run in earlier. I'm living the dream.
Nice.
Once we get done with this, I'm going to go binge watch baseball and football. Sunday, fun day for me.
I think the Cardinals are still winning 1-0.
So we started the playoffs.
Yes.
The wild card games happened.
Yes.
Right? Did you enjoy the Washington Milwaukee game?
Yes and no. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
What was it? 3-0 heading into the eighth?
3-1.
It was 3-1.
It was 3-0 at one point, but in the eighth I think it was 3-0. 3-1, I'm sorry.
Right. So it was 3-0. The way the game was playing out was, okay, the Brewers got this. Right.
Yeah, that's the way it looked.
So around the time of my daughter's bedtime, I decide to go tuck her in and then, make my way back to the game. Well, she wanted a book read and whatever. By the time all that passed, I go downstairs and the eighth inning is over, and that's when all the fun happened.
Yeah.
And so I missed it all. I had to rewind it back and see what was going on.
Even the first 3 innings, which is where all the runs happened prior to the eighth, the Brewers scored 2 and then 1. The Nationals came back and scored 1 on a home run. It was a pretty quiet game.
Yeah.
Throughout. And then all of a sudden the eighth inning just happened. And it never fails, man. An error will always lead to trouble.
Yeah?
Always.
And it's funny how the Juan Soto hit the that base hit turned error. Oh well, ended up being an error, right? It wasn't a base hit.
Yeah, I don't think they gave him a hit on it.
Right, to Yelich's replacement.
Yeah.
Right? So, go figure. But again, another reason why I think I understand the Nationals won the game, but I wouldn't have started Scherzer in game 1. Obviously, he gave up 3 runs nice and early. But it wasn't
a bad outing.
No, but I mean...
But giving up 3 runs early is, kind of puts you on the back heels a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you certainly looked prophetic when you said, as the game was playing on, that Scherzer was not the good start for them. But, they managed to pull it out. No. The big mistake, obviously, was the right fielder throwing that ball home and not getting the out, and letting those runners advance, and it just became a mess. Well, actually, he didn't throw the ball home; it didn't matter at that point. He just missed it, right?
Yeah,
and quite frankly, it's a rookie mistake. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's a rookie mistake. He just didn't know the situation. You're playing no doubles at that point, so you're playing deep. Chances are you don't have a play at the plate on that guy coming in from second.
Yeah.
So, worst case scenario there, you got second and third, or maybe first and third. You still have 2 outs. Get the ball into your cutoff and just play the 9th inning and maybe beyond. Instead, he thought he could make a throw from back there, which I don't think he had a chance to get that out, and he ends up throwing it away, and it makes matters worse. So,
was Hader charged? Was he pitching?
Yeah, he pitched all the 8th. Yeah,
all the 8th?
He got the last out too. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Well.
Am I the only one that's irritated by that guy constantly rocking? Like, he takes 6 steps before he pitches when he comes set.
I've never noticed.
Him, and there's another guy that does it. There's a guy from the Nationals. I think it's the Nationals that does it.
I've never noticed.
I mean, but he's constantly, he comes set, and, he brings that front foot in, and then he just steps and steps and steps and steps. And I don't understand how that's not a balk, because if you do it the same number of times every time, then it's not a balk. But the minute you change that, you're deceiving the runner, right? Aren't you deceiving the guy at first at that point?
I guess it depends what foot he's doing it with.
He's doing it with the front foot.
Then it's not a balk.
What do you mean?
I mean, is he lifting it up in the air?
Well, he's lifting it off the ground.
Completely?
Yes. He is patting the spot in front of the mound there.
I've never noticed Hader.
You're not going to notice now because they're out of the playoffs.
They're out of it.
But yeah, I think that's I don't like that. I don't like that whole step thing. And then on Wednesday.
So did you agree with Strasburg coming in the wild card game?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. Look, I think the Nationals more than any team need to do that. Right, we learned from the Red Sox last year that you can do that. The Red Sox did it with Eovaldi a bunch last year, where they brought him in. They did it with Price in the World Series. It may come back to bite them in the ass as they progress, right? Assuming they beat the Dodgers and assuming they, make it through the NLCS. Eventually, I think those arms will get tired.
Yeah. And
coming back day after day is going to be tough to do, and eventually they're going to be ineffective. But what's your alternative? Turn it over to the bullpen? It's the worst bullpen in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, it's like damn if you do, damn if you don't. Yeah. I mean, you almost don't do that because, especially Saturday night or Friday night when Strasburg got the start. Why take him out and bring in Mad Max? Strasburg was only threw 85 pitches, and he was cruising. That was the wrong time to bring him in.
Well, but again, not necessarily. If you're thinking, I'm going to have to use my big guns, Strasburg and Scherzer, if I'm going to get an inning of relief out of them somewhere before their next start, then maybe it's not the wrong time, right? Because obviously that's what Martinez is thinking. At least that's what I think he's thinking.
Well, I think he has to. I understand the Nationals bullpen has been shaky all year, but at this point, you have to allow them to pitch and do their part, because you just can't. I mean, I don't agree with throwing out your starters for relief in back-to-back games like that. I mean,
I don't necessarily agree with it, but I also understand what he's doing and why he's doing it. In a typical game, you're going to get 6, maybe 7 innings from your starter, right? So now you have to cover 2 or 3 innings with this bullpen that is crap against a Dodgers team that's got a fantastic lineup. I feel like he's trying to steal an inning with his big guns. I get it. I don't know that it's going to work.
You think he's managing in desperation? Because I think he is, and I don't think that does well for the team, because you're taking away some appearances from the relievers, and if they don't get that inning of work in, or a batter or 2 in, it kind of throws off their rhythm when you try to bring them in 2 games later, or
especially
whatever.
with more days off.
Yeah, so yeah. I don't really. Plus, it's not like you have Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson. Like, these guys were able to go a complete game and pitch you into the 9th. Scherzer, I don't know if he can anymore, especially coming off the injury list.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I don't agree with it.
It's going to be really interesting to watch the rest of this Dodgers series, especially if it ends up going 5 games. How does he manage Strasburg and Scherzer? Because, look, it's been proven all year long. They've made it to the playoffs in spite of that bullpen.
Yeah.
And so he knows he can't rely on them. And rhythm or not, who cares about their rhythm? You got to win games. You got to win 3 out of 5.
Because, what if Scherzer starts. Let's say Scherzer starts game 4.
Right.
And it gets out of whack like the Brewers 1-game series did, and it's 3-0. And what do? You bring in Strasburg?
I wouldn't be surprised if it brings in Corbin.
Man, I don't know.
It's crazy, but look, it's the freaking playoffs, man. It's do or die. Either you win 3 out of 5 against the Dodgers, or you go home.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. It's going to be fascinating to watch. That series has become very interesting to me because of that.
Yeah.
Because I thought, well, the Dodgers are probably just going to steamroll them. But with the Dodgers not having played a meaningful game in a month, it's become a very interesting series. And the other series is very interesting as well, because you've got 2 very evenly matched teams, I think. So it's been a lot of fun so far to watch the National League playoffs. The Cardinals and the Braves, I think, are even Steven. It's going to be fun to watch. I was surprised with the Cardinals stealing Game 1. I thought they might go up 2-0, having Flaherty on the mound for Game 2, but the Braves came out and said, nope, not today. And their pitcher, whose name I absolutely cannot pronounce.
Oh, Folly Wonkings?
Folty something. He was lights out in Game 2 and tied that series up at 1. And I think both of those series may end up going 5 games. In fact, I think they will, and it's going to be fun to watch.
What do you make of Acuna again not running out a 350-foot single?
I don't understand, and maybe again, I am twice Acuna's age, at least, if not more. I do not understand the desire to stand there and watch. Man, just drop the bat and run. And the whole bat flip thing and the whole watching the ball, unless you absolutely I don't have a problem with you watching it. But you have to know you crushed it.
Well, maybe he knew he crushed it.
No, he didn't, because it was only 330 feet. So, no, he didn't know he crushed it.
But he felt deep inside that he crushed it.
No. He's hit Look, if you went out there and hit one and watched it because you thought you crushed it, I've seen you hit. It's the only one you hit 300 feet. Okay, yeah, I get it. You didn't know. Acuna's hit some home runs in his life. I think he knows when he's crushed one.
Yeah, I mean, there's no excuse.
There's
for
no
it.
excuse for
not
it.
at this, not in a playoff game.
No, absolutely not.
Now,
Absolutely not.
If I was the manager, Snicker, right? Is that his name, Snicker?
Snickers, Mars Bar, whatever.
I wouldn't bench him because I need him.
I would bench him,
but next season he gets benched for the first 2 games of the season.
I would bench him.
No.
I would bench him because look.
Then you're not trying to win.
No, you are. Because he's going to do this shit again. He's going to do it again. And he's going to do it in a bigger situation that's going to cost you. But you know what?
I'm willing to take that chance. I can't bench him. There's no way.
I would. Quite honestly, he didn't bench him right the first time. I don't know if you know this. He didn't bench him immediately. He benched him after his next at-bat.
Oh, okay.
So he's already wimping out on doing the right thing for his team.
Yeah, no, there's no way I would bench him.
I would bench him.
No way.
I would.
No, you wouldn't.
I would have pulled him out right then and there.
What if it was like Game 7 of the World Series? In the first
Well,
inning?
then I got to bench him next year because it's in the middle of a game.
No, but you can bench him in the middle of the game.
No, but it doesn't have the same effect.
Yeah, no, but I would definitely send him a message and possibly, especially if like if they open up at home the next season, I bench him for the whole first series.
Well, 3 games, come on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, why not? You gotta send a message.
Yeah, but I mean, you're telling them you can do it, just don't do it. Just.
Well, I mean, if he does it again after that, then yeah, I mean, then you just haven't learned your lesson. You know what I mean?
I don't understand what the problem is with this kid. I mean, they benched him once already. Isn't that enough? Even if they took you out after the next at bat.
That's what I'm saying. Later. He must have really deep inside felt that was gone. So I kind of understand, right? Because I mean, if something happens the first time, right, and you just know the second time that, oh man, this team is gonna beat this team. I just know you're gonna lay down $100 on that team just because you have that feeling deep inside that it's gonna happen. Right? I mean,
this is going to become the Hall of Fame conversation for you and the VAR conversation for me. You're going to drive me crazy. No. He did not know deep down inside.
Well, he definitely thought it.
No, he didn't.
I mean, well, what? You think he pulled a hammy?
No, I think he's an idiot.
Think so? Nah.
Nah. I don't know. And the whole bat flip thing and watching it, I think is kind of dumb anyway.
Yeah,
it doesn't bother me, but I don't see the need to do it. Like Bregman hit a home run in Game 1 or Game 2. I think it was Game 2 last night. He flipped the bat, but it wasn't like the Jose Bautista 40-foot flip. He flipped it a little bit.
Well, after that one, after Bautista did that in 2016, there should be no more bat flipping. That was the best bat flip ever.
And that one was to win the game, right?
Yeah.
See, I'm okay with that. When it's game over, I'm okay with that. If there's still game to play, there's no need to bat flip. There's no need to bat flip. There's no need to really watch. Again, it doesn't. If you absolutely crushed it, it doesn't bother me. But if it's not a moonshot, man, just drop the bat and run the bases.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me either way. I mean, whatever. It adds a little more juice to it next time he comes back up to bat. You know what I mean? So it's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
I think it's dumb. Now in the American League, there's nothing to talk about. I mean, well, let's start. The Rays beat the A's.
Yeah. In
a relatively ho-hum game. The Rays just pitched them to death, really.
The under hit in that game. Thank you.
Yeah. To say the least. And then ever since then, it's really been no contest.
It shouldn't be.
Last night, the Astros got a bit of a scare in the 9th inning from the Rays, but other than that, it's been ho-hum.
Well, on the Astros, 2 things. Osuna can't be pitching the 9th inning. He's had issues during the season, and you can't
trust him.
You can't trust him in the postseason. And the offense needs to come through. They had 2 chances in innings with the bases loaded or runners on second and third and didn't come away with any runs, maybe just 1. It was 2-0 at that point, right? Like late in the game. So the offense needs to come through in, runners in scoring positions, when they have runners on and score a run or 2. They can't come away empty-handed. So, going forward. Other than that, you got Verlander, who is looking. I'll get to him in a minute. You got Verlander, who looked great in the first game. You got Garrett Cole striking out 15 last night. I mean, their starting pitching is
it's sick.
It's scary. I mean, it's
sick.
It's gonna be very. It's gonna be an issue, I think, for whoever comes out of the other side, which is probably gonna be the Yankees. I think they're gonna give them fits. I really do.
Those two guys are incredible. Did you see the strikeout pitch for Garrett Cole on his 15 strikeouts?
No.
I mean, it wasn't one pitch. It was the knuckle curve. It was the slider. It was the fastball. I mean, everything was working with 2 strikes. I mean, he's on another level right now. He's the most dominant pitcher right now in the playoffs by far, I think.
Well, I don't know about far.
By far.
Oh,
Verlander's good. Verlander's good, but not like I mean, Cole isn't just shutting the Rays down. Cole is demoralizing. He's got these guys swinging at stuff that's in the dirt. I mean, he's just got them hurting.
Yeah.
He's got them looking bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. Yeah, he's got more strikeouts than ground balls and fly balls put together. I mean, it's sick what he's doing. And Verlander's good. Don't get me wrong. And Greinke's probably going to be good tomorrow night. But man, nothing like Cole.
I was thinking. I'm like, why? When I looked at when I'm looking at Verlander pitch, he's what 34, 35. I mean, he's up there in age.
He's up there, yeah.
He's got plenty of seasons under his belt. And when I was watching him pitch the other night, I'm like, man, he looks kind of like Greg Maddux. And I'm wondering why some of these pitchers, and I'm naming these two or this one because I watch them, like Syndergaard, right? He's a power pitcher, right? But I'm wondering why these pitchers that are power pitchers are not getting taught to pitch more to contact or location, right? Because I think the days of overblowing batters it's going to catch up to the pitcher eventually, right? Just because it's a timing issue, right? You could throw 100-mile-per-hour fastballs, but eventually if the batter sees you often enough, right, or a second or third time around the lineup, they're gonna catch up to your 100-mile-per-hour fastball. But Verlander, I feel like he's not overpowering, even though he's still throwing 94, 95, 96. He's still pitching to location and pitching to contact. And I wonder why some of these pitchers are not getting taught to pitch this way, right?
Well, and that's really the good thing about Cole is striking a lot of people out, but he's not falling in love with any one thing. Yeah. He is keeping them very off balance. Yeah. So that they can't sit on a fastball, they can't sit on the slider, they can't sit on anything because he'll throw any pitch in any situation. It doesn't matter the count, he'll throw it, and he's been phenomenal, just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, you've got the Yankees and the Twins. The Yankees are, whereas the Astros are putting on a pitching clinic, the Yankees are putting on a hitting clinic. I mean, they are wearing down the Twins. Every single at-bat takes 5 or 6 pitches. They're playing 4-hour baseball games because they're going to make... No one is going to get out of an inning with 10 pitches. No one. They make every inning a 20-pitch inning, and they work those pitchers to death. They do not swing at balls, and they will make you come to them. And it just shows. I mean, they are slowly chipping away at these Minnesota pitchers, and they really have no answer for them at this point.
Well, the Twins had 15 postseason losses in a row, games that they lost.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a long time going without a win, and they might not get one.
They might not get one this year. I can see the Yankees
sweeping this one.
Well, I think they're both going to be sweeps.
Going out on a limb.
Well, yeah, I like to predict the crazy. That's my parlay tomorrow.
They might as well just skip game 2, and I wonder how much you would have to put to actually win some money there, right? A parlay on those two.
For game 3?
If you parlay the Astros and the Yankees, you got to probably put down 1,000 to win 100.
It's probably no, it's probably not.
No, it's plus money. It'll be plus money, but I'm just saying
it might not be.
Yeah. Huh?
Well, the Yankees will probably be about even money.
Well, they're both away, so it'll definitely be plus money.
Yeah, because the Yankees will be even. But the Astros will be favored quite heavily, I would bet, with Greinke on the mound.
Yeah. True.
So, I don't know.
So
it may be close to even money.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And look, and that's the series we want. The Astros and the Yankees is the series we want. At the end of the day, I think.
Yeah. I mean, nobody wants to see the Twins and the Rays.
Well, look, these are the two best teams in the American League for sure, I think. And, it's only right that they meet up in the ALCS and hammer it out over 7 games. I hope we get a 7-game thriller. I hope they go back and forth. No team gets a 2-0 lead, and no team gets a 2-game lead in the series.
Yeah, it could. I mean, it could definitely come down.
Back and forth. That'd be awesome.
It could definitely happen.
Speaking of 2 games in a row, overreaction Sunday afternoon. The Cowboys suck.
Yeah. I mean, well, are we overreacting to overreactions?
Well, now
we might be doing that.
Well, now we got to overreact the other way, right?
I mean,
look, if we're gonna make it on ESPN, we got to say the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl when they were 3-0.
Right.
Actually, you say it when they were 1-0, and then just confirm it at 2-0 and 3-0. And now that they've lost 2 in a row, and their offenses look pitiful, when they to be fair, they haven't lost yet, but they are down 24-0 in the second half to the Packers. Now that their offense looks like poo-poo, hey,
we're gonna overreact and say
we're gonna overreact. And they're not making the playoffs.
They're not making the playoffs.
They're 500.
They're gonna finish in last place.
Well, no, because the Redskins are there, and there's no overreaction there. That team is gonna end up in last place.
That is the worst team in the NFL.
We talked about this. We talked about this a little bit earlier when you got here. Between the Dolphins, the Bengals, and the Redskins, you need to make a poll on that. Who is the worst team? Which one is more likely to go 0-16? I think it's the Dolphins.
Do you?
Because I think they're doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Whereas the Redskins are actually trying. And I think the Bengals are actually trying. But they just suck. Whereas the Dolphins suck and they're not trying.
Yeah, there's so much dysfunctionality with the Redskins that
that's got to be the biggest word you've ever used on this podcast.
It is. It really is. Ever in life.
Probably dysfunctionality.
That they...
Say that fast.
No, I can't. We won't even try. Yeah, the Redskins suck. They're the worst team, man. They are worse than the Bengals. They are worse than the Dolphins. Okay, here's what I wanted to ask you. Since we're talking about the Redskins. Did you hear... There's an audio or video of Jay Gruden saying he really didn't want Haskins drafted.
Right.
So my question is, for a franchise, in your mind, in your opinion, whose call is it on draft day? Is it the GM's call? Because it sounds like the general manager was the one that wanted Haskins. Or is it the head coach's decision to say, hey, we want this guy, go ahead and draft him?
Here's the thing. The coach has to have faith and has to have the players that he wants to run his type of offense, to run his type of defense, to have it work the way he wants. But I just think there's so few guys that can do the talent evaluation and the contract evaluation, especially in the NFL, along with the coaching, that you have to have a GM. And if you have to have a GM... then it's that guy's responsibility to build a team that works for this guy. So ultimately, to answer your question, I know I'm kind of going back and forth. I think it's the GM's job to draft a team that works for the coach that he has.
Right.
And in this case, I think that's what's going to get one of those guys fired. Right? Because, I mean, that's the way it works. And the sad thing in D.C. is... You've got an owner who hasn't really given any direction, I feel like, to the organization. So the organization doesn't know the GM's going to put the team together and the coach is going to coach it come hell or high water.
Right.
Jay Gruden saying that tells me he thinks he can influence who his GM is going to be that's going to get him the kind of guys that he wants. And the GM... bringing in a guy that the coach doesn't want tells me he thinks he can influence the owner into getting the coach that he wants, so that this coach can use the players that he's bringing in.
That sounds like a whole bunch of dysfunctionality.
Yeah, exactly.
See what I'm saying? So that's why
that's
I say
dysfunctionality personified.
Absolutely.
Boys and girls, the word of the day: dysfunctionality.
Country of origin?
Yeah, Washington D.C. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you asked where it's most prevalent.
Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly my point. Like, I think the owner, Dan Snyder, needs to get rid of both of them because it's obvious that the GM can't evaluate quarterbacks, can't evaluate head coaches because Jay Gruden is not a good head coach. So they should both be gone. That's what I think. But yeah, so I don't know. One of them won't be there. I mean, if I had to guess, I would guess it would be Jay Gruden.
Holy shit, dysfunctionality is a word.
Yeah, you didn't know
My
that?
man!
You didn't know that? Come on, man.
No.
Yes, you did.
Dysfunctionality.
Dysfunctional.
I'll start calling you Big Word Alex.
Big Word Al. I like that.
Hey, if you want to drop some knowledge on us for our next podcast so that we can have a word of the podcast.
We're preparing for the spelling bee.
That's right. I know you don't know how to spell it. You can reach the show via email at positivesports10@gmail.com, positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of Mr. Dysfunctional over here, how do they do that?
On Twitter at Brooklyn Gaucho 1.
And if you want to get a hold of me, you can do so on Twitter as well at eMontana21. I said this last week. I don't know if I said it on the podcast or not, but this is true. The Houston Texans are the best 3-2 team in the league.
Overreaction.
And the Houston Texans are the worst 3-2 team in the league.
Impossible, but overreaction.
Neither one of those is an overreaction. From a talent perspective, they're the best 3-2 team out there. They're a good football team. They have a ton of talent. The way they play down to the level of their opponent sometimes, and the play calling the game plan that they bring forth in certain games, like they did last week with Jacksonville, they're the worst 3-2 team in the league. I don't know what team I'm going to get. Every Sunday, it's a shot in the dark. I mean, you may as well be blindfolded and throw a dart at a page that says good Texans and bad Texans. You don't know what you're going to hit.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I feel like they're not very good because you don't know what you're going to do. It's just a 500 team, and right now a little over 500. But, I mean, then I don't think they're a good team because...
Offensively, they were terrible last week against Jacksonville. Today, they put up 53 points. Deshaun Watson was 28 of 33 for 440 yards, I think, and 5 touchdowns.
I credit the Atlanta Falcons defense for that.
But their defense is not that bad. I mean, those are best numbers of the season, league wide. I mean, that's crazy. They ran the ball for almost 200 yards. It's just, how can that be the same team that last week couldn't get a first down against the Jaguars? Again, they're the best 3-2 team. They are the worst 3-2 team. I have no idea what we're going to get from Sunday to Sunday.
No, I have no idea. And that's been pretty much all of the NFL for years now, it feels like. Because every year it feels like it's just a week-to-week league. Teams play one way one week and they don't game plan the same, or they just don't play the same.
Oh yeah, and another good example of that is the Bears, right? The Bears, they're 3-1. They go to London today. Now I kind of give them a bit of a pass going out to London because I feel like that trip takes a lot out of teams, and teams react to it differently. I think they physically react to it differently. So I kind of give them a pass, but they went down 17-0 quick to the Raiders. Came back to take a 21-17 lead. I thought, okay, they're going to do what they do. They ended up losing 24-21. Again, another team that I just don't understand. They may be the second worst. They may be the second best 3-2 team, and they may be the second worst 3-2 team.
Yeah, Bears get no excuse from me. Got to beat the Raiders, especially when the Raiders are traveling for like the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's just not
they
good.
shouldn't. I don't care where they were playing.
That NFC North looks like it's going to be a good time. The Packers are going to be 4-1. The Lions are 2-1-1. The Bears and the Vikings are 3-2. I mean, that's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah,
It's going to be fun to watch.
It could be.
I don't know how the schedule shakes out, but I hope they play each other the last week of the season. Doesn't every division play each other?
Yeah, they do. I think they play like the third to last and the last week.
That'd be awesome. So. It all comes down to the last season. Who's impressed you the most? We're 5 weeks in now. Who are you most impressed with?
Shit, I don't know.
The Redskins.
Yeah. I don't know. I only watched one team. I have no idea.
I'll tell you who impresses me the most individually is McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I mean that guy can run it. He can catch it. I'm willing to bet he can throw passes as well. He is a hell of a player. I mean, he racked up a ton of yards today, albeit against the Jaguars. But then again, the Texans couldn't do anything with them last week. But he is just every week. He is the far and away the most consistent player they have.
They had a picture of him up right before like around training camp, and man, he's ripped. I mean, he went into some kind of program diet. I mean, he is absolutely ripped. He's gained a lot of. I thought he was going to be slow this season. He's actually looked.
Yeah, because he packed on a lot of muscle.
Yeah, so I thought he'd
be
a little more slower, but I mean, he had like an 85-yard run today that looked pretty fast.
Well, and he's when he first came out of college, you thought he was just going to be a pass catching running back out in the flat, and maybe he would run sweeps and whatnot, but now he runs in between the tackles.
Yeah,
I mean it's tough running, and he does it no problem.
I would say, back to your question, I would say the Saints have kind of surprised me because, I mean, they lost Drew Brees, a Hall of Fame quarterback. And although even though I thought that, they would stay competitive and, Bridgewater obviously is no Drew Brees, but he would somehow keep them in games. And but still, you're surprised because anytime a starting quarterback goes down, unless you're Eli Manning, the team just kind of folds and doesn't play as good. But I mean, their defense is playing well, and they're kind of rallying around Teddy Bridgewater, and it looks like he has that locker room believing in him and within one another. So I think even though they're, it's not a surprise that they're 4-1.
4-1.
It's not a surprise that they're 4-1, but they're 4-1 without Drew Brees.
Yeah, how they got to 4-1 is kind of surprising.
So,
yeah, they have done a fantastic job of next man up. We talk about that all the time here on the podcast, and they've done an excellent job of it. Other teams have quarterback situations, and no one has responded quite like.
Yeah, I mean they went up to Seattle and beat Seattle.
Yeah.
Something the Rams couldn't do on Thursday night.
And Seattle's a good team. They're playing. They look like that. Looks like it's going to be a good 3-horse race in the NFC West. We'll see how San Francisco does tomorrow night against the Browns. If they can beat the Browns and stay undefeated, it's going to put some pressure on those other teams. But the Saints are the Seahawks are 4-1.
Yeah.
The Rams are 3-2 right there. It's going to be. It's almost looking like we're going to have a serious log jam for those wild card spots because I think in the NFC East you've got Dallas and the Eagles who are going to battle it out. The other team will then be subject to the wild card situation. In the NFC North you've got everyone in that division is playing well. The NFC South you don't have much. You just have the Saints really, and then in the NFC West you've got 3 good teams. So you're looking at 2, 4, so that's 6 and 4. That's 10 teams for 6 spots. There's going to be 4 pretty decent teams unless there's collapses that are going to be left on the outside looking in.
I feel the Rams are in trouble. Something about that team, and it's not even the Super Bowl hangover, but there's something about that team that is not
functioning.
It's not functioning, and I think it's coaching. I think McVay is overthinking stuff, and
He's trying to be too cute.
And that might be a result of the Super Bowl. You know? Kind of, sort of. I guess I could just contradict what I said. But either way.
No. I see exactly what you're saying because I think sometimes these genius coaches, and I think, don't get me wrong, I think McVay is a genius. He's an offensive genius. I think sometimes in order to keep pushing the envelope to innovation, they start stepping on themselves. And it especially happens when they take a stumble. And look, the Patriots put a stumble on them. They were steamrolling through that season last year, and then all of a sudden they got shut down. Now it happened to be in the Super Bowl, but I think if it had happened in Week 10, they might have had the same problem. Or if it had happened in Week 1 this year, they'd had the same problem. So I agree with you. I think it's sometimes those innovative guys they get too much into their head. I agree with you completely. That's a great point. I like that.
And Gurley, it's obvious he's not 100%. I mean, so you're not going to get the same Todd Gurley you got 2 years ago.
I agree.
So it's like I sense a little trouble there.
God, it's Alex, you're really bringing it today.
Oh well.
Dysfunctionality and great analysis on the Rams.
Man, I don't even watch the Rams. I just made all that stuff up.
That's impressive. Don't sell yourself short. You've been playing with the dictionary late at night. You've been watching the highlights.
What did it say? One word a day? Right?
Yeah, 1 word a day, yeah. Do you have one of those little calendars with word of the day? That's where you got it from.
Well, no, I got my 10-year-old showing me index cards and flipping them over. Like, okay, Daddy, what's the word? What's the definition?
Is she teaching you?
Yeah, of course. I have to adapt to this new modern era of math? Of new little geniuses, right?
Yeah, it's tough. When these kids come home with stuff, I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
My son asked me some shit about the Revolutionary War. I was like, when was that? Like 1992? He's like, no, I was older than that. I was like, really? Oh, okay.
See, I got the best one-liner to get my 10-year-old, right? I got a 17-year-old at home, but he's
on autopilot.
Yeah, he already knows. But for my 10-year-old, when she brings home like some math problems that I haven't really done in a while, or trying to teach her how to do it my way instead of the way that they're teaching.
Yeah.
And because they're teaching a whole different way that I have no idea how. I'm like, look, just go this way. Don't take the 10 extra streets to get to the answer. Just take this one street and you're good.
3 lefts equal a right.
That's it. So in order for me to sometimes learn, well, you know what? I take that back. Even with my son, because he'll come home with like some algebra stuff, and I'll tell them, look, man, you got to learn this stuff because you got to teach me.
That's
right. So with my 10-year-old, it's a little easier because she kind of feels like, yeah, I kind of learned something, and she feels grown if she teaches daddy something, right?
Right.
So
excellent.
That's a way for me
That's a great tactic.
That's a way for me to get out of
teaching them.
Yeah, teaching them and trying to overthink and smoke coming out of my ears.
Listen, sweetie, you got to pay attention in school.
Exactly.
Because you're the one there and I'm not.
That's it.
So you got to bring it home and teach me.
Exactly.
Damn,
voila.
I wish I'd have thought of that.
Well, you can always have more kids and,
No, I could not. Have you seen how much gray is in this stubble? It's not like yours.
There's always room for more gray.
No. Not in mine. Look,
come on,
mine
man.
is all gray.
Don't you want to be that parent that has a football team assembled full of kids at the house?
I mean, if I was younger, I'd love to have a football team.
Yeah, if I can go back and plan things out a little better, I would.
You'd have 11.
I'd be popping them out. Well, she'd be popping them out left and right. I mean, I would build me. I couldn't do a football team. 11 is too much.
But a basketball team.
A basketball team with the
baseball team?
Nah.
9? You could if you had some multiples, right? Like if you had 3 sets of triplets, boom, baseball.
That's start at 9, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
and then you can just hit the ball to them.
If I had all boys, oh my God, I think I would go baseball and turn them into the best starting 5 ever. Right?
If you had 5 boys or 9 boys or whatever, your wife would kill you.
Yeah, well, I mean, she would love it. She wouldn't have to do anything. I would invest. I'll tell her, look, all you got to do is get your little part-time gig.
All you got to do is a shit ton of laundry and feed these munchkins.
Yeah, but I would be so invested in these 5 kids and just preparing them to be starters in the major leagues.
You have your own starting rotation.
Yeah, I mean,
how awesome would that be? They all get if you had quintuplets and you made them all starting pitchers and they all got drafted by one team.
Yeah, I mean that's where I would take LeVar Bull's mentality and apply it. We would have to be drafted by one team because I can't be in 5 different cities.
Right. It'd be impossible.
Yeah,
you'd have to like if you had 5 kids and they were on 5 different teams, you'd have to go spend a week following each kid.
Yeah, unless I get cloned. No, we can't have 5 of me. We can have 5.
That would be a lot of dysfunctionality.
We can have 5 little bees. We can't have 5 adult bees.
That's when your wife would kill you.
But I would so do that. Like
this podcast has gone completely off the rails.
And you know what? They would be homeschooled, and I wouldn't even press them.
Oh no!
I wouldn't even press them to learn. I wouldn't even. By the time they were in junior high school, they wouldn't need to know Revolutionary War, algebra. Screw all that. All that goes out the window. We're focusing on baseball. Plain and simple.
Kids, do not listen to this at home.
Listen, what's the average retired age of a baseball player? 40?
35, 40?
Perfect. Plenty of time to get some bifocals at that point and read on the Revolutionary War. You got plenty of time after retirement to learn all that crap. You don't need none of that to play baseball.
Oh my God.
Plain and simple.
I hope your daughter doesn't become like some star athlete.
Think about it though. We're talking about having 5 kids and preparing them to play baseball. I don't have time to teach one of them about algebra, about the Cold War, the World War, the Hot War, the War Room. No, we're talking. I can only teach them baseball. It's 5 of them. We don't have time for that.
Yeah, if you had 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't get. Yeah.
But here's the thing. You don't have 5, so that girl better get some good grades.
Well, yeah, she better. Because I need to learn all the crap that she's learning.
Oh, my God. This has gone off the rails. What else you got? Since obviously we don't want to talk about football.
I have no idea. I hate when you ask me that because I don't have anything after that.
After that, I mean, that was fun in and of itself.
I guess it's over. This podcast is over.
It's over. What are we on? Episode 95?
95.
95. Famous 95.
I can only think of one right off the bat. Pittsburgh fans will probably know this guy, Greg Lloyd.
Greg Lloyd's a good one. Richard Dent from the Bears.
Well, okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, well,
that's a good one.
If we need a good one, usually we can. What can I say?
Richard Dent, yes.
Just a quick update on our wager.
What wager? I don't remember any wager.
Okay, if you
am I winning it?
Yeah. Well, you're looking pretty good.
Oh, yeah, wager. That's right.
Buffalo Bills 6-2 over their first 8 games. I said 4-4, 5-3 would be a tie. They are 4-1 after their win today over the Titans. Not exactly a beautiful win, 14-7, but a win nonetheless on the road. You're looking good. 2 more wins. They got to win 2 out of their next 3. Who? What's the rest of their schedule?
It's not.
Or their next. I know they got the Eagles in there, which is not easy. They've already played the Patriots, so.
I don't know. I hope that the Dolphins have to be somewhere in there.
If the Dolphins are in there, I think they're going to win that game.
You're going to go out on a limb?
I'm going to go out on a limb here. Hold on, let me look.
Yeah, I can't remember who they're. But
the Buffalo Bills.
Hey man, however you get it done, 14 sets, an ugly game.
So, the Dolphins they've got a bye week.
Yes.
The Dolphins in 2 weeks. And then the Eagles and the Redskins. This is not looking good for me.
6-2. Easy money.
Oh,
right?
Man. Yeah, that looks terrible for me.
The Dolphins have a better chance of beating the Bills than the Redskins do.
I can't believe you're so convinced that the Redskins are so much worse than the Dolphins. I think they're pretty darn bad.
Yeah, I mean, record-wise, they're both bad. I just feel like the Dolphins have a little more sense of direction. Like they're kind of there's no dysfunctionality there. We know they're trying to lose games on purpose, but I think if they really gave an effort to win, I think they would win a game or two.
What happens if all three teams are 0-16? The Dolphins, Bengals, and Redskins. I guess the Dolphins and the Redskins are going to play each other, right? Because it's East versus East this year.
Oh, that's right. Oh, what if they tie then? If they tie, the Bengals get the worst
Hold
record.
on a second. When is that game going to happen? Because we got to have a party for that one.
If they tie, the Bengals would get the worst record if they were to go 0-16, right?
Right. Yes,
okay.
yes. That would be awesome.
Wow.
Two teams 0-15-1, and one team.
When do they play? They should play on the very last game.
God, wouldn't that be awesome?
Right? Because they're both going to try to lose.
No, they play next week.
What?
Next week, one of them will get off the schneid.
Dolphins. They had a bye this week.
Oh, yeah.
Dolphins had a bye.
Is it in Washington? Hold on.
It doesn't matter.
It's in Miami.
Oh, yeah. Dolphins are winning that game.
Wow, a home game after the bye week. Yeah, I think
how much are you putting down on this game?
Dude, I don't
Who's
gamble
betting
much.
on this?
I don't gamble much, but I don't understand. Like, in my opinion, you have to be a true degenerate gambler to gamble on two bottom feeder teams.
I'll tell you what, man. Call me degenerate. Call me dysfunctional.
You're betting on the Dolphins?
I think so. I think so.
Well, coming off the bye week.
At home.
Against the Redskins, who are 0-5. But remember, the Dolphins are trying to lose. I don't think the Redskins are.
Man, I don't know.
See, I can't. When there's two crappy teams like that, I couldn't put money down on either one of them.
But think about
unless the line was like 10 for some ungodly reason. Like, even then,
think about how much fun it would be to bet that game.
Why?
Just because.
Because then you're gonna watch that shitty game. That's not fun.
Exactly. You know how much you're rooting for a team. I mean,
that's not fun. You're gonna watch a crappy game.
Hold on. There might be a line on this game already, just because the Redskins already played, right?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
There has to be a line on this.
God, I would not. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Hold on.
Unless it was a 15-point spread, I wouldn't touch it. You know it's going to be 3.5. Miami by 3.5. I bet you anything it'd be Miami favored by 3.5.
You think there's a line on this?
There's
got to be a line, right?
Go ahead and check.
Let's see. So you're saying 3.5?
It's going to be right around 3. 2.5, 3, 3.5.
Not a pick 'em?
No. The home team will be favored.
3.5. Oh, the Dolphins are underdogs.
Oh my God!
I'm all over that. All over it.
But that's because Vegas knows they're trying to lose. What's the over/under on that game? Like 10?
41. I thought it'd be less.
I'd go over on that if I had to.
Bro, I'm all over the Dolphins on this.
No, I'm not touching.
Call me degenerate.
You're degenerate. You're a dysfunctional degenerate.
I'm going Dolphins.
You got a shout out?
Nah, man. Shout out to everybody watching this podcast, taking time out to subscribe, comment, look at us, listen to us, and ride with the Positive Sports Podcast.
That's right. You can catch the podcast on YouTube, iTunes,
Podbean,
Google Play, whatever your listening platform that you choose. I don't have a shout out either.
You don't got a shout out?
No, I've been busy, man. I've been.
By the way,
busy with stuff.
This is a great time to be in, to sports.
This is a great time of year, right? October is the best.
You got
football, baseball, hockey, and basketball about to kick off.
Hockey already started, right?
Hockey started this week.
So fast.
Yeah. And basketball starts, I think, at the end of the month. So right about the time baseball shuts down.
That's right.
You get basketball.
Sweet.
Which, from the early look of basketball, it looks like we're going to get a heavy dose of the Lakers.
Oh yeah.
Which I don't think I can stomach.
Well, the good thing is, you're old. You don't stay up past 9 o'clock. They come on at 9:30. You're gonna probably not watch them.
They'll put them on prime time.
Yeah, well.
The Rockets, look out for the Rockets. I know you don't like him.
No. Listen, as much as I bash James Harden, I think the Rockets are going to be up there. Here's a quick deal about the Western Conference. You can talk so much about all the teams, what they've lost. There's new looks for all the teams. Yeah. There's no way to really figure out how they're gonna match. Paul George, this is his second season in a row with shoulder surgery, so he's gonna miss some time in the beginning. Yep. You don't know how that's gonna work out. You don't know how James Harden's no-foot jumper is gonna work out. Him and Russell Westbrook. You don't know how Klay Thompson not being there, and then now you inject D'Angelo Russell. You don't know how.
This is, as you talk about this is by far the most interesting basketball regular season we've seen in a long time.
The one difference is, or the one team that stands out that really hasn't changed much as far as their starting five are the Denver Nuggets. They kind of have the same players, kind of went under the radar in free agency.
But with them, you'll wonder, how do they handle success, right? Like, how are they going to handle success? They kind of flew under the radar last year, even though they were in the top 3 for most of the season. Most people really didn't take notice until the playoffs. Now they've got more of a target on their back. People are going to want to play them hard. They're going to want to measure themselves against them. It should make it quite interesting to see how they do.
But now that you say that, they have a chance to fly under the radar again, just because there's going to be so much eyes on the Lakers, on the Warriors, on the Rockets, and so they may have, I don't think we've ever seen a team maybe fly under the radar like that in back-to-back seasons, right?
Usually and be in the top 3.
Yeah, so
it'll be interesting.
Should be good.
It'll be interesting. Alrighty, folks. As always, hit the subscribe button on our podcast. Send us any of your comments via email. Reach out to us on Twitter, comment on the show, whatever you want. We'd love the interaction with you guys. And we've come to the end of another wonderful episode
9-5
of the Positive Sports Podcast. As always, folks, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.